Hey all, former fanboy of the Nissan Titan XD sitting here, providing you with this information. Just full disclosure, like I was a huge fan of this truck. Several years ago, my wife's cousin sent me a link to an engine that Cummins was developing, and it was a 5-liter V8 diesel, rumored to be headed for the second generation Titan XD platform. There was some indication that had been sort of a joint partnership between what is now known as Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and Nissan at the time, and then for potentially a variety of reasons, Chrysler pulled out of that agreement, or pulled out of their deal. Nissan chose to continue with the project, and I think the rumor was that like FCA sort of found themselves in this tumultuous financial situation following the economic downturn in the United States, and also that Ram wasn't able to get, or Dodge or Chrysler or whatever, wasn't able to get the mileage numbers that they had hoped for out of the smaller diesel engine. Now, I did not listen to that warning because like everything online is a lie. So I'm like, nah, that can't possibly be it. Like, it's a 5-liter diesel. It's got to get better, mileage numbers than like the 6.7-liter inline six in a heavy-duty truck such as this one. And that surprisingly ended up not being the case. And I would just encourage you, if you're thinking about buying a Titan XD, 100% your decision. And I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but I am going to tell you why I didn't do it. When numbers were finally released, I found that my body style that I wanted which was a quad cab, like 6.5 foot bed, diesel truck. Probably the Pro 4X package is what I likely would have gone with in blue, for whatever that's worth. That truck did not have a towing capacity in excess of 12,000 pounds. This truck that I'm sitting in has a towing capacity like knocking on the door of 18,000 pounds, and like I don't need that. Is 800 foot-pounds of torque fun? Yes. Do I need that? Absolutely not. And who knows, like my wife and I talked about getting a fifth wheel or getting a gooseneck trailer and like doing some significant like traveling and towing down the road. But right now we tow a horse trailer. It's a 3-stall, fully enclosed tack room horse trailer. I couldn't tell you a weight on it, but whatever. So like this truck is a bit of overkill. And I thought, all right, well, this kind of like Goldilocks zone truck, it's pretty cool. And I have I'll put a picture here. I'm not good at that yet, but I'll get better. I have a V8 swap Nissan 300ZX. The engine is out of an Infiniti Q45, and you probably know that Infiniti and Nissan are the same thing. So I'm definitely not an opponent of Nissan. I don't really have a problem with them. I don't love most of their styling in the last 10 years. But 300ZX is my favorite sports car of all time. And I thought, all right, well, that'd be pretty cool. I could tow this to the track. My Nissan with a Cummins towing my Nissan with an Infiniti engine. That'll be cool. So started following this truck, and I knew that like right about the time it was going to be released was right about the time that I would actually be able to be in the market for a truck instead of the Ford Escort I'd been driving from high school. So it was a bit of an upgrade. I followed the truck for about 3 years in its development after getting that link from my wife's cousin, and including waking up to watch its unveiling at, I believe it was the Detroit International Auto Show. So I woke up, because I'm West Coast and that's East Coast, so I woke up, early that day and watched the unveiling. And I was not in love with the styling at first, but it kind of grew on me. And I've heard all these complaints about it. It looks just like a Ford F-150. And I mean, I see that. I also think that there are only so many things you can do with a pickup truck in terms of styling. So the styling grew on me. I became very interested in what the price is going to be, because I know Nissan was trying to get like sort of a foothold in this market, which is just like saturated with brand loyalty and like the big three, just GM, Ford, and then now Ram, formerly Dodge or whatever, like having this following. And generally speaking, it's Ford, GM, Ram in terms of sales every year. And Nissan's trying to like really get a bigger share of that pie than they did with their Generation 1 Titan. Alright, well, these are smart people, so I'm assuming they're going to do the right thing and ensure that they're putting out a good product that makes sense. As I followed it, every day I'm checking news articles and seeing that, like, fuel mileage looks like it's going to be, it looks like it should be pretty good, and it ends up not being good. Unfortunately, the things that didn't happen far outweighed the things that did happen. So, like, final towing numbers and payload and things like that were released, and I was reading on my phone in the bathroom because, and like I walked downstairs to my wife and I was like, we're buying a Ram. She's like, well, that escalated quickly. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty pissed off. And, like, rightly so, because, like, everything that the Titan should have been, it ended up not being. Like, it is a heavy-duty truck, sort of. Like, it's basic, and a Goldilocks zone comment has been made multiple times, but it finds itself in this weird position of being, like, too big to be fun to drive and too little and, like, underpowered to be really a heavy-duty truck or really to compete with this segment. And I know people say, like, well, it's not designed to compete with this. Well, yes, it is. Like, it's designed to take some of the people from the half-ton segment and some of the people from the three-quarter-ton segment and present them with this sort of, like, happy medium option that satisfies, like, really what I don't know. I don't know what it satisfies. Ultimately, it gets, and just, like, watch any of the videos about real-world fuel economy. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name is Jay. His channel is called Gerbit, G-R-B-I-T. And I think Jay said in one of his videos that he, on a road trip, got 20 miles per gallon. That was the best he ever got. This truck, and not this exact one, but like mine that I had before that I crashed, and I won't keep talking about that, but like my 2016 that I had, I averaged over the life of that engine 20.2 miles per gallon. Mixed city highway, and like I put my foot in it frequently, so I'm not just like babying it around. There was actually a road trip we took where I verified, not just through the Liometer, but through like pulling my calculator out and doing math at the pump, that it had gotten nearly 24 miles per gallon on a road trip, and that's in a full-size pickup, like just a big heavy-duty whatever with a 6.7 liter Cummins. And I like doing 75 near 80 the whole time, and it got great mileage. So I drove down to the local dealership in my Hyundai rental and got treated just fine, despite the fact that I rolled up in that, and I went on a test drive, and I learned a couple things were sort of confirmed for me during the course of that. Number one is that it is gutless. It's an absolute pig. Number two, it gets terrible fuel economy. So, drove it back and parked it, and I thought, all right, that's probably the end of it. I didn't buy it again, and I'm so happy I didn't. Again, no disrespect intended. This isn't just like a Titan XD bashing session. It's just like I found myself in not the most positive of circumstances in the market again, and went, a bit more in depth this time than I did the first time, and test drove one, did more reading, and it just confirmed my fears.